Hello, my name is Scott Bradley, and this is the SNN Sports Football Voices podcast. And as always, you can find our episodes on YouTube. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Blair Glynn and Jamie Kelly. Jamie, how are we?
Good, you?
I'm very well, mate. Blair, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
And, me, obviously, I'm not very good after that result yesterday, but which we'll obviously get into. But first of all, both you guys are world champions from the Scotland Cerebral Palsy team. You have had an unbelievable journey, and you're an inspiration to a lot of people. But I'll start with you, Blair. You had a stroke at the age of 11 years old. That's obviously absolutely devastating. And if you don't mind, can you talk me through what that was like, experiencing something like that so young?
Me experiencing it, I didn't really feel much, but to start with, I didn't feel much. But my family and my friends felt so much. It was my good friend that I had it in front of. I was just playing at a park one day, and a vein in my neck stopped, twisted over, and stopped blood getting to my brain, causing stroke. So I obviously fell back, and my mate thought I was just having a laugh, and he was shouting, "Blair, Blair," no response, and it was, "Blair, I'm going to get your mum," thinking that would maybe get me up. Nah, so I went and got my mum. But that time, I managed to get myself out. There's a seesaw thing that I was on, face down, and I can just remember being dragged in at my mum's house by my friends, my hands over their shoulders, and we're just sitting there, falling over at my right-hand side. Because, well, it's my right-hand side that I've had my stroke on. I can remember seeing my aunt and uncle coming in, and my uncle asking, "What have you done?" We just laughing at him and going unconscious. Floating in and out of consciousness. I can then remember the ambulance and my mum just crying at the side of the bed, and me just waking up, laughing, and then going back unconscious until I got to the hospital. Dad opens the door. My dad was a fireman, worked in Edinburgh, opened the door and says again, "What have you done?" And we're just laughing at that and then falling unconscious. Then the next few weeks, it was about getting me better, finding out what was wrong with me, which was a stroke. Then I was just getting better. So after my stroke, I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, I couldn't move the right hand side of my body. Right hand side of my body, well, I was right-handed, I was right-footed, so I had to learn how to write with my left hand, kick a ball with my left foot, walk, jog, run again. And in that August, I was going to high school, so I needed to try and get back for that as well. High school was absolutely terrible for the first 2 or 3 years. I just wanted to go there, but not be seen by anybody, just kind of come in and out the shadows. But PE, that was horrible because I had a big splint, came right up my calf and my shoe, which I covered with my trousers, but PE, obviously, got to take your shoes off to get your trousers off, and everybody could see it, and I just felt, nah, this isn't good. So I got through that, and it wasn't until about 5th, 6th year, because I stayed in for the 6 years, I don't know why. But my friends were all sitting, and it was like, "Blair, what's your story?" I was like, "Nah, it doesn't matter. Just try to push it away, deflect it." And they all got me in a room. They were sitting by the door. I was sitting on our side. It says, "We're not moving until you tell me your story." So I told them my story, and I actually felt easier and a bit better. So then from there, I've worked in America for a couple of months. I've been a lifeguard, so I learned to swim again. And then I found the cerebral palsy team. Found it by chance again. I was looking for Scotland tickets, and I never considered myself disabled at the time, because if someone was doing something, they gave it to me, it might look a bit different, but I'd still get the ball in the hoop or whatever. So I clicked disabled, and it says, "What's this?" It says, if you've got cerebral palsy, had a stroke or a brain injury, contact this email address. Contacted the email address, boy came down to see me, and 5 weeks later I'm playing for Scotland in the Euros. It was just amazing.
And obviously playing for Scotland, that must have been a huge moment for you. That was like a game changer. And obviously you mentioned the fact that when you finally told your story, do you feel as though when you'd done that, as I said, like that was like a game changing moment for you, and also that's when things really started to progress for you, and you felt a lot more confident going forward?
Yeah. At first when I told my story, it just felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. So I told more people my story because you know how bad children can be. And I says, well, look, I've had a stroke and this happened. And they were like taken aback at first. But then some of my best friends I've met and I've just told them my story firsthand. But playing for Scotland was a game changer. Like every time I pull the blue shirt on, the hairs in the back of my neck stand up and everything. And I was 24 years old. I'm 39 now, and I still get hairs in the back of my neck standing up.
So I can imagine, mate. I can imagine. And obviously, Jamie, will come to you. You suffered a brain injury 10 years ago, and if you don't mind me asking, like, what was that like? And obviously the recovery from that as well.
Looking back, probably terrifying. Driving home from work, and the lights just went out as I was driving, so I was still conscious. I was still aware that I was in a car, but I just couldn't see it. It was as if somebody just put a blindfold over my eyes. Came around, lasted, I don't know how long it lasted, my guess is a couple of minutes. Came round and walked to the doctor's surgery, and then they sent me to my local hospital with a letter saying you need to get a scan. And I didn't meet the criteria that the hospital required to get a scan. So it was like breaking down barriers, crying out for help, going, well, something's going on, like, I know my body, it's not natural. So that was a Friday, and I had the fear, genuinely I got fear that I wouldn't have seen the Monday. So I got a bus to the nearest hospital, still with the letter in my hand, and I said, I've been up there, didn't meet the criteria, help me, there's something going on. So they scanned me, and then they put me in it was like a wee side ward, or a wee side room off of like A&E, and they said, I will come and see you soon. Time had passed, and I was still nothing for anyone. You start thinking, like, what's going on? Why is nobody said it? And then 2 paramedics appear at the bottom of my bed and go, right, pal, it's time to go. And I'm like, yeah, where am I going? Oh, you're going over to Glasgow. The neurosurgeons just want to have a wee look at you. No, I had none the wiser that they'd found it on the scan. And I was like, all right. It says, we'll tell you on the way. So they told me in the ambulance that my brain had fell 17 millimetres into my spinal cord, and that's how I found out. And I was like, all right. And then the blue lights went on, and I'm like, you sure I'm just going for a checkup? And he's like, no, the surgeons are waiting on you. And so went to the neuro hospital in Glasgow, spoke to the surgeon, and I was like, look, rather than hit me with medical jargon, just tell me, like, if you can tell me, I can process it. I've always been I need to know the why, the when, the how. Like, so he says, okay, worst case scenario, you've got about, based on the last time you ate, we've got about 10 hours to play with. Worst case scenario, you say goodbye to your family. Best case scenario, you lose your vision completely. So we'll get there, but we've got 10 hours. So that night I went, I just remember phoning everyone, and like even people that I didn't speak to as often, I didn't want to leave. If I was going to leave the world, I didn't want to leave with not saying cheerio to everyone, so phoned every single person with contacts. And just looking back, like that's probably the scariest time of my life. Got operated on, and they went in here initially, and I had a drain hanging out my head for 3 days while they took the pressure off my brain. And then since then I've had nine ops, been paralysed 3 times from left hand side down once, and then my legs twice after that. I learned, like, refused to go in a wheelchair. They brought a wheelchair into the room, and I was like, "Who's that for?" And they went, "Well, you." And I went, "I'll walk." And they were like, "Not really sure you will." I was like, "Nah, I'll walk. I'm telling you, I'm not leaving this hospital until I walk." And here I am, like, beat it 3 times. When I was in the hospital for the 3rd time being paralysed, I booked myself onto the Great Scottish Run because I wanted to prove a point. I went back into the hospital the next day because I had a relapse, but I had the medal on. So I've always been quite stubborn, and probably as much as being stubborn went against me growing up, it certainly played a part in who I am.
Mate, honestly, that's an incredible mindset to have. Like, that is so impressive, because a lot of people, if we're being honest, would just accept reality, but you're got that strong mindset where you're like, nah, like, it's my life. I'm going to dictate how I want to do it. And I think that is so inspirational. It really is. And the fact that you went through 9 operations, 9, and obviously as well, you've got a smile on your face, and you've been through so much. And it's the same with you, Blair, as well. I think you, as I said at the start of the show, you two are truly an inspiration, where you've got such a positive, like, mindset and an outlook on life. And a lot of people would just kind of accept defeat, really, but you obviously used to don't. And I think that is truly inspiring, Blair.
Aye. To be fair, we had a talk in the last Euros, and we decided to come up with a partnership that was called the Resilience Partnership, because we feel we weren't born with a disability, but we've got a disability now, and we can go out and tell people what it's like to have a disability, because we can remember our time without the disability, having able bodies and everything. But now, well, I know for me, I've had my stroke for longer than I was an able-bodied person, so I know how hard it is. And I know people say words and write words on boards and everything like that, but it's to actually have that disability and do the work. That's the main goal with that.
And obviously, you are world champions.
Yeah.
Like, that must have been one of the proudest moments of your life. And I'll ask you both this, right? I'll start with you, Jamie. Talk me through the game, and talk me through the moment you got your hands on that trophy.
Well, I was on the bench, but I watched it, and every goal that went in, it was almost like it brought it was just a belief, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It just brought the first goal went in, and then it was like, we're going to do this. We were like, and then the next goal went in, you're like, by the way, we are going to do this. And then the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, all of the bench stood up, and we turned out, it was Northern Ireland in the final, we turned out and we went, we're going to run on here. We're not being disrespectful, but it's just so you know, we're not going to shake hands right now. And then the final whistle went, and it was just chaos, wasn't it?
Aye, it was.
And Blair, we just jumped about the trophy because we were jumping about, and I forgot he took his boots off, and I still had my studs on. And bounced on him, and there's a video of us doing, and you just see him on the ground going,
ground for 2 minutes.
No, it was good. It was.
But
experience it.
I feel like I started on the bench for the final as well, but I felt nervous for the team that went out to play it, and it's not often that I feel nervous before a game, but as soon as that first whistle goes, my nerves normally just disappear. But I felt actually quite nervous still until when did we score? 10 minutes or something? 10 odd minutes passed, and we scored that goal, and I thought, right, we're going to do this. Here we go. And then I came on, and I was told to just keep the ball, keep them running about. So I did that, and we won the World Cup. It was brilliant.
We did, and I think there was a core of that team that had already been in the World Championship final 2 years prior. we played Colombia, and we didn't do enough to bring it home. So I think there was that point to prove,
Aye.
you know, we should have really put it to bed against Colombia. Didn't do enough, so we had to do it this time. I think that was probably for a lot of the boys on their mind.
Yeah, and a lot of boys have got the same mindset as me and Jamie. Although, as I said, we are, if you like, new to disabilities. These boys have grown up with cerebral palsy and everything, but some of them have got the mindset, no, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to stubborn mindset.
Nobody, it's a good group, and nobody is different in that mindset. Like everybody, we all work. We work like at jobs. We work off the pitch, try to get into physical peak condition. Like we're all proper.
Aye.
We don't want anyone on his back, do we?
No.
And there's boys that travel up to England just to play.
Up to England, down for
Open, aye. So it's
crazy.
The distance that people travel is incredible. Just
to play.
just to play.
I know, I can imagine. And obviously, I've asked you both this as well, Blair. See, with people that are suffering from this, what advice would you give them?
My first advice would be just talk about it. Just talk about it, because it's lifted so much off my shoulders. Like, before I joined the Scotland team, my mum says, like, I was walking about with a chip on my shoulder. She didn't know what was causing it or why, but as soon as I joined the Scotland squad, it just seemed to lift. And again, it was like the world lifted off my shoulders, thinking, here we go, you can actually play a sport that you enjoy. And there's loads of teams out there for disabilities, but they're like the football team and just not very well known, I'd say. Aye.
You know, obviously, what about yourself, Jamie?
I often say to, like, people that ask me about it, like, it was the worst thing that could ever happen to me, but the best thing that could ever happen to me, because I appreciated the small stuff in life. So waking up and being able to tie my shoes and roll out of bed without being in pain, things like that. So, but I've never changed who I am. Like, I've always had the mindset it doesn't define me, and I'm still me. I just need to adapt to a different way of living. Like, I lived 21 years normal, but what is normal? Like, this is just a new normal. And you probably will, like, people that like go through this, they probably will lose friends. You need to be prepared to that. You need to be prepared to be treated differently. You need to be prepared to, you know, be asked questions. I lost a lot of friends, but it's the ones that stick by you that matter the most. And people don't ask you what's wrong out of badness. They genuinely they're curious. Like, so whenever I say, like, oh, playing the Paralympic squad, like, for Scotland, and they go, how? You don't look disabled. But then you tell them, they go, oh, you never know that. It's probably the same with you. Like,
like, I played in the Paralympics in 2012. Did I search my name because me getting red carded comes up. But I come home and that was a great feeling, great time in my life. But I come home and say, I've played in the Paralympics. Why did you play in the Paralympics? Because you see Paralympics and you see Ellie Simmons and like other people, but I've never saw football and they've never watched football until 2016. Well, people around my way watched it because they knew I'd played in it and then knew how much I enjoyed it, so thought they might enjoy it. But people are, how do I say it? Inquisitive.
Good word.
But, somebody's been swatting us out.
But obviously, we'll move on, guys. And Jamie, I'll stick with you with this one, right? Obviously, you're a big Celtic man, and a lot has happened with Celtic this week. Obviously, the start of last week, Brendan Rodgers quit after, obviously, Hearts beat Celtic 3-1. But I want to hear your thoughts, mate. Rodgers quit. To be honest, I was shocked, but not shocked. But what was your take on it? Do you think it was the right time? And obviously, the second time he's done it, second time he's worked out in Celtic. But what's your take?
I think from the board, I think there's been a breakdown there somewhere, and it's been coming for weeks. It's almost like he's wanting to throw himself under the bus with certain comments.
On the Civic.
All that, like, that's like goes back to like the Gucci belt part.
Oh, I know. He's the David Brent of football, isn't he? He really is.
No, like, I think it doesn't surprise me, but the biggest one that shocked me was nothing's been said about John Kennedy being going with him or whatever. Nothing's even come out.
He was just part of like a brief statement, that was it. Just like, you would have thought, like, considering the fact that he was with Celtic for about 27 years, and he just got a brief mention, not like a full statement, so I thought that was very telling. So I'm thinking maybe he quit alongside Rodgers, perhaps.
Maybe, but then I heard on the radio yesterday that he gets sacked, so I don't think you know the truth. Like, but I think certainly it's been coming for a while. His football became a bit possession for possession rather than there was no end product.
Yeah.
You see under Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney and following, like, they're not still the same boys, and it's not the greatest Celtic team.
The passion's back up.
But there's a drive there.
Yep.
So it doesn't surprise me, but it'll be interesting to see if he counters into Desmond's statement, because
That's what I'm about to bring up.
that was a big statement.
Mate, I've never seen a statement like it. He was brutal, absolutely brutal. Like, when I read it, I was like, is this real? I had to double check, and I was like, this is going to get messy, but what did you make of it?
I don't know. I don't know if it's got to be true, surely. Like, you can't come out and say something like that without...
And not being true, exactly.
Aye, but then I was going, is Rodgers not signed an NDA and he's took the huff and he's went, right, you know what, I'm just going to character assassinate.
Yeah,
Because that's what it was.
100%. But hang on, so I believe it. I totally believe it, because obviously Desmond, say what you want about him, he's a very smart guy, he's a very smart businessman, right? He would have spoke to his legal team and been like, right, okay, can I put this out? It's all true, by the way, and they would not, yeah, go ahead. So obviously Rodgers, being the character that he is, I think he probably will respond in a wishy-washy way. But I think Rodgers knows himself, like, I can't exactly go down the legal pathway for this. But would you say, Jamie, considering what's happened, right, and how it ended with Rodgers at Celtic, do you think his legacy is tainted?
He won 11 out of 13 trophies, though, didn't he? So I think you got to give him some respect for that. But then you don't know what goes on in the background either. And I think he came back, he said he was going to stay there 3 years. And he stayed there 3 years. So he's going to, like, lift up to it, what he said.
Aye.
People will go, Hearts are top of the league, and that's why he ran. But all the part of Honda Civic and Ferrari, so that I was just concentrating, making football play. Because you see boys like Johnny Kenny, never got a look in really with him, and he's doing, I'm not saying he's a finished article by the way, but he's doing okay. You've got other players, like when he was playing Forest is probably one of the most consistent players Celtic got at times. But it doesn't, it's just a mess, I think.
Yeah. And obviously you mentioned Martin O'Neill. What were you like when the news broke that Martin O'Neill was coming back to Celtic? I actually said in the last episode, right, I said it to Ellie, I was like, what about Martin O'Neill? And then a week later he was appointed Celtic manager. I'm like, what kind of like timeline are we living in? Where obviously left Celtic 20 years ago, he's 73, now he's back at the club. But obviously, what do you make of Martin O'Neill's return? Obviously nostalgic for you, I can imagine. But what do you make of it?
I thought I had a brain injury. Like, Martin O'Neill, I was a wee bit worried because I was like, the legacy's got, the history holds. He's picking up a really poor side. A team that didn't look as if they were playing for each other, but didn't actually look interested in playing them. I was a wee bit worried, but it's more, he's obviously said he's not staying around. But who gets the job? Who wants it?
That's true. When you look at some of the candidates, right, obviously, if I was a Celtic fan, I'm looking at the list, I'm like, that doesn't really excite me. Keane McKenna, Robbie Keane, I'm looking at, obviously, Sean Maloney's obviously been linked with it as well, but I'm like, obviously, big result for Celtic yesterday. We'll come on to that in a minute. But like, I think the Celtic will probably just give him it till the end of the season at this rate, because I think it was all like riding on that game yesterday. O'Neill got a tune out of the team, and as we were saying, the passion and drives back there. Obviously, Celtic are not a great team, we all know that, but the fighting hunger's there, and obviously it wasn't there before under Rodgers because his body language as manager was totally off for a long time. But Martin O'Neill, would you give him the gig until the end of the season?
I would, aye, for old time's sake.
They'll bring Henrik Larsson back.
Get the boys, get all the boys back together.
Well, he's turned Johnny Kenny into Larsson this week.
Aye, I know, and also we'll get onto that, but we'll speak about the Old Firm derby. Also, I'll come to you with this Blair, obviously neutral point of view. What did you make of the game yesterday? It was night and day compared to the Old Firm game, the end of August, where it was like hands down the worst Old Firm game I think we've ever watched. I think the only two people that were probably happy with that result was Brendan Rodgers and Russell Martin. But what did you make of the game yesterday? It was jam-packed.
I thought it was brilliant. Celtic went 1-0 up and then Rangers got the man sent off, and I thought it's all got changed. It's all got 2-3, 4-0 Celtic. But it didn't, because Rangers seemed to band together and actually put up more of a fight than they did with 11 men. So, but no, it was a great game.
No, it was, I would say, like, obviously I'm a Rangers man, but I would say one thing I noticed where I can be positive is the fact that, see the Rangers team yesterday, the fight and hunger was there. If that was under Russell Martin, I think Celtic would have scudded Rangers about 4-5-0, honestly. But when Rangers went down to 10 men, I was thinking the worst, but the players just like continued to dig in. And obviously it wasn't enough. But obviously, the Ascot red card, it was a red card. Right? You can't get away with that in the modern game. But obviously, Jamie, I'll ask you this. Do you think Trusty should have been sent off? In my opinion, obviously that kick to Jack Butland, it was a red. Like, I don't know what he was thinking.
I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that he's managed to get away with it not being a red is the fourth. But then there's a delay in the kick. I don't know. But VAR, have they came out and said they got it wrong, or has anybody came out?
No, as far as I'm aware, no.
No. It didn't even go back. It didn't go to the monitor. I mean, just came through the earpiece. So I think he should have had a look at it.
Yeah, no, it was staggering.
Very, very, very delayed, and his reaction, like, I didn't mean it. I think you may have did.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%.
I was expecting a red card to come out just to even up the teams, to be fair. But
yeah, but that's the thing as well, like, that's what infuriates me about Scottish football is the fact that the referees are so incompetent. That's what they are. Like, I don't buy into this narrative of conspiracy agendas. Nonsense, I've never bought into it, never will. It's just, they're not very good referees. And that's what's so infuriating, because I'm for VAR, but it's just the people that are in charge of it that are the problem. So they are. But over to the second half, as we were saying, the Rangers were like, they're working very hard and they got back in the game. Obviously, Blair, I'll ask you this. Obviously, James Tavernier scored the penalty. I think James Tavernier, right, I've said this about him for a long time. I feel as though he's a winner surrounded by losers, right? Yeah. And when you look at the last 10 years, right, he's bailed Rangers out so many times. And he's played under some dross managers, played with some dross players. And I felt so sorry for him yesterday. And even one of my Celtic pals said to me, he was like, I actually felt a bit bad for Tav, because there's only so much this guy can do. Where he's just like, I'm bailing Rangers out time and time again, but I'm getting let down by incompetent officials, bad players, bad managers. But what's your take on James Tavernier? And obviously being here at the club 10 years is incredible. Rangers' longest serving captain as well.
That's crazy, that. Because all it does is, like what me and Jamie do, pull on the strap and go out and play. And he can play, and he scored some amount of goals for right back. But every time anything goes wrong, it's always James Tavernier. And I've got a habit of bringing out the captain to talk to MD. Oh, we've lost Tav, go and talk to him. Which I do think's right. I do think's right at all. But no, I think he's a great player.
No, 100%. And it's like the fact that, I've said it many times as well, if you put Barry Ferguson in some of the teams Tav's played in, he would have won the same amount. And there's only so much he can do, where, like, I think some of the abuse that he's received is shocking. It's absolutely shocking. I've always said it as well. I think he's one of the most mentally strong players in the game. Whereas I remember watching Josh Windass in open goal when he was like, I don't know why Tav puts up with it. Like, go play for someone that actually respects you. You know,
they're wanted.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's very, like, it's 50-50 with the support, but I love the guy. I think he's unbelievable, and obviously this might be his last year, but I think he's still probably got another couple of years in him, Jamie. Yeah, because obviously he's a freak of an athlete. Like, he's never injured. And
It's crazy.
Yeah, and he's obviously 34, but his work ethic is incredible.
No, I think he does become a bit of the blame a lot of the time. Is he perfect? No, nobody's perfect, but he works hard. I think he must get sick of coming out and going, I'm disappointed. You've got to be like, why not send somebody else out?
Aye.
Why does it need to be?
Aye.
It's like, oh, me again. I know he's a captain, but who is a vice captain?
It's John Sutter.
So why not send him out?
Yes. Aye, because that's the thing as well, he can't win. If he doesn't do the press, where's the captain? If he does do the press, he's going to say the same old garbage. You're like, what more can this guy do, you know? It's absolutely baffling. But obviously, Callum McGregor last year, Jamie, he's obviously received a lot of criticism from Celtic fans, but stepped up yesterday, scored a tremendous goal. What do you make of some of the flack that obviously your captain's received?
I think it's undeserved. That's similar to Tav. Like, he's surrounded by players that look sometimes as if they've never played football. And yes, he might not have the legs that he's got anymore, but he's clever. And even that wee shimmy out his feet to weather a ball. But to be fair, yesterday I was questioning the goal because I'm going, John Suter actually squats out of the way, and it's in the line of Butland. Suter should stop it in the first hand. But he seems to have scored 6 or 7 goals like that this season, where he's never scored like that. So you can't say he's done, and you can't say that, he's terrible. He's just like Tav, surrounded by poor players. And Rangers and Celtic, I've never seen them as bad as each other. Like, technically, as with whoever does the scouting model, like, they need to go and speak to Tony Blood.
100%. And obviously, before I come on to the Jambos, obviously I want to ask you about Danny Rowe. Danny Rowe so far has impressed me. I was at the press conference last Sunday, right, and Danny Rowe went round the whole room and shook all of our hands, did not miss one person out. Obviously knows what he's doing, but that's a very good first impression. I think some of the stuff that he's been saying in pressers has been impressive. He's not doing a Russell Martin, just waffling absolute nonsense, right? But yeah, obviously Danny Rowe's got a big job in his hands. I feel as though he's been a breath of fresh air. But what do you make of him so far?
I think he's a good manager because he can't have had the players out in the training pitch very often because of the amount of days that I've had. But I think he's managing to get his message across, and he's managing to make the players work for him and do as he asks. Because them without the ball just now, it's night and day between that and them playing under Danny Rowe and Russell Martin. It's just incredible.
And they also will come on to your team. We'll come on to your team, Blair. Obviously, the Jambos, top of the league, unbeaten, absolutely flying right now. Big question is, can they go all the way? Can they win the league?
Me, as a fan, I'd love to see them win the league. It's been, how long? 40 years since somebody but Rangers Celtic won the league. But I'd like to see them win the league. But if they can make it to January and still be hopefully above Celtic or near enough on the same points as Celtic, I can see them buying again. And hopefully that'll be enough to take them to win that league.
I feel as though it's never never, mate. Because obviously both of them are bad. And it's like, obviously Tony Bloom's been unbelievable. I think the appointment of Dennis McInnes has been sensational. Because obviously you took the chance with Neil Critchley. It was a risk. But obviously the board were like, right, we'll learn from that. We took a chance. Didn't work out. Went with a safe pair of hands with Dennis McInnes, who I think is an unbelievable manager. And I feel as though December will be huge for you.
Yeah.
It'll be huge. And I think obviously Hearts will invest in January. And Tony Bloom's, like, he's unbelievable. He's been a game changer.
Oh, it's mental. And it can seem to get players for like hundreds of thousands. While Celtic and Rangers spend millions, he just finds the one player that's out there for 200, 500,000. And I think got Brazilian and Kazakhstan player signing in January. So hopefully it's a start, but hopefully like 2 or 3 years will be a team to be reckoned with because we've just built on what we've got. I can see us obviously selling players. Like Braga has been out of this world, outstanding, and I've got murdered this name. What's the Greek?
No, you're talking about.
He's just brilliant as well. So they'll obviously move on, but it's how much they move on for. So all hail Tony Bloom.
That's it, mate. That's it. And obviously, Jamie, I know you don't want it, but from a neutral point of view, it would be amazing if Hearts won the league, because obviously Scottish football's not got a great reputation. It's like 2-horse league, or some would say a 1-horse league over the last few years. But from a neutral point of view, it would be great to see a team outside the Old Firm actually win the title.
It would certainly make it interesting. I think Celtic and Rangers, for the amount of players they bank on selling to, that'll make that money back, so therefore they don't worry about players they bring in, whereas Tony Bloom's got a method in the Moneyball system and it seems to work, and I don't think Celtic and Rangers will ever buy into that. I genuinely don't. I think their model is, right, we'll buy 13 players this season, we'll sell 2 on, we don't need to worry.
No,
like,
exactly.
So like outdated, whereas it's made it interesting.
Aye.
And it certainly, I guess, it grows the game a wee bit, because like I worked down in England for a year there, and everybody was like, what's the point in watching Celtic? What's the point in watching Rangers? It's the same. Whereas now they might go, Hearts are top of the league. Do you know what I mean? So
like on TikTok and Facebook and everything, I've been watching it, and English people have been saying, oh, by the way, you saw what Hearts are doing, and they're on about that Claudio Braga song as well. That's a brilliant song. I wish I could take credit for that. But no, I think they're starting to turn heads as well, so it's brilliant.
And then obviously, just to finish off, guys, right, ask everyone that comes on the podcast this question, right? Very controversial one, so it is. Who do you think is the GOAT? Who's better, Ronaldo or Messi?
Well, my son's across there, and he would love me to say Ronaldo. So Ronaldo.
Good man. What about yourself, mate?
Messi for me. I remember when he played at Parkhead, and he had the long hair, and he was just starting out in the Barcelona team with Ronaldinho and Xavi and Iniesta and all that, and I was just like, who's this kid? And to be fair, he's never really went, and he's just kind of went to bigger heights, but 2 different types of players. I'll be the diplomat. 2 very different types of players, both as good as each other, but Messi for me.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. And obviously, guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you very much for watching, guys. And until next time, take care, and we'll see you soon. And also, make sure you follow SNN Sports on all platforms. Thank you very much. Cheers.